XRP, XLM, XYO. These coins will explode soon. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil. We keep technical analysis short and sweet. Sorry for the delay on the other video. I posted it to schedule to post public within a certain time, and it did not. Anyways, we are looking at Bitcoin, and it is holding at the 618, holding a higher low. And when you're looking at this on the daily and you zoom in, looking at this candle specifically, we see that it is inverse hammer. And so me personally, I'm going to put a hammer right there, because this will take off if this line holds, and we can kind of see the trajectory here with these red candles that I have pasted. Moving over to Floki, if Bitcoin holds that line, everything else is going to be taking off as well. Floki with the line that we had placed, it is below that area, but it is above the 618, trying to create a higher low. And the Fibonacci retracement, if it's the top to the bottom, we can expect potentially moving back towards 0.000135. If that does not hold, we could see it push further to 4 zeros and an 8, moving on to near. Inverse head and shoulders still holding above the 200 EMA. The RSI is right at the 50, and purple is crossing over yellow. Everything is looking good for near. If Bitcoin starts to hold and push upwards, we will start seeing the same with near as well. So just if you haven't entered, make sure this is stable, and you may get a push back up. And if we close above this high, that's when we'll start seeing further increase in price. Moving to XYO. XYO is one I wanted to cover a little bit more in depth. So looking at these boxes, we have this yellow one where we have that major push up, consolidation dropping down, and then we have another major push up, consolidation dropping down, and another push up. And when you compare that to over here in these tiny boxes, we have a major push up, consolidation, dropping down, major push up, consolidation more or less, dropping down, and then another major push up, trying to hold above that 200 EMA. Zooming out a little bit, if this will let me. This is the 4 hour. Let's move to the daily. So in the daily, you might be able to see a little better. Push up. Here's the push up, consolidation, here's the consolidation, the push down, here's the push down, and then a major push up, the major push up, the drop below the 200 EMA, drop below the 200 EMA, push up, drop, consolidation. This is potentially what could be happening with XYO as we are about to cross over that 200 EMA. And the downward trend line, which is some major resistance, and the RSI is looking very healthy. We just need a little bit of volume, and XYO is going to take off. So you have not stacked your bags, definitely try and stack a bag for that, but that is not financial advice.
You can't see it, then you just never know.
XRP forming still within the inverse head and shoulders, holding above the 200 EMA, getting a little bit of consolidation. We really need to break this downward trend line as we are getting a lot of pressure. RSI looks healthy, and there's supposed to be important news within these next couple of days where we could see this push back up and test this area at the 3.4. If that does not hold, we could be pushing down to around the 2.8, maybe a little bit lower. But dollar cost average XRP, I keep stacking a bag of it, there's probably not another coin that would be a better bag to stack than XRP. So dollar cost average, keep building that bag, not financial advice. XLM doing similar structure, inverse head and shoulders, also needing to break this downward trend line, and then once this breaks, we can see if we can see a hold above 0.47, we can see the next push into these two red lines, and beyond that, the sky is the limit. So I would actually stack XLM and XRP if you're stacking XRP as well. And Spell made it back up to the 200 EMA. If we can get over that 200 EMA, we could expect a pump, potentially 20 to 26%. And it is at an absolute low. So zooming out, since this is the 4 hour, it is at a very, very low point. So I'd actually recommend this one at this moment. If you're trying to push up into the 200 EMA, it is more of a scalp trade. We really want to see it break this downward trend line if you're looking for more of a long play, as that'll show more stability, and we'd most likely retest this downward trend line to try and build a higher low. Moving on to Hbar. I got a lot of lines in here, but the major one you need to be looking at is this black upward trend line. We need to stay above that for this to be a healthy move, and it's in a long consolidation bullish pendant. And so I imagine once this comes up and touches this line once more, we are going to take off for Hbar. There is the possibility of retracing down here right before the takeoff. The 618 is all the way down here at the 20 cents. However, if Bitcoin holds, I don't think we are going to see that far of a push. If it doesn't hold, we could potentially see those lows for a short minute before ultimately taking off. And then LCX and XDC. LCX looks very good right now. I was talking bad about it this entire time as it was dropping, which is necessary. But if we can hold above this 200 EMA and then the next close being above this high, we can start seeing some new highs for LCX. Zooming out into the daily, this is kind of what it looks like. And we see last time we tried to hold up on this line, it broke through and then came down to this line, which is the new rough trend line that we want to keep support above. And we could also draw a trend line from here, more or less. We need to stay anywhere within this area and ultimately get over that 200 EMA, because once we get over that 200 EMA, we see a major push. So LCX is looking pretty good if we can hold above that 200 EMA. XDC and then NKN. XDC was looking pretty good just the other day, but it broke underneath the 200 EMA, which is why I was saying keep an eye on it, as this would technically be a double top. If you can kind of see that double top right here. But with that, it had that push down, and we are below the 200 EMA, getting a little bit of consolidation, a little oversold on the 4 hour. On the daily, we do have a little bit more of a way to go to test this 200 EMA before ultimately taking off for XDC. But we could get some consolidation, waiting for that 200 to get a little bit closer, and then pushing that up as well. And then NKN, no one's really talking about NKN, but it is breaking over that 200 EMA. The potential move to push up towards this downward trend line around 6 cents from about 3 cents. And zooming further out, it is at a very, very low point. The absolute low, I believe, is somewhere down here at 0.0069. We're at 0.0293. But if we can get over that 200 EMA as well as this downward trend line, same thing, very, very bullish support. And we may be pushing back up towards this 1636. That's it for this video. Like and subscribe if you want. All the references in the description below, and good luck. Have fun with it. I will see you on the next one.